We're going to find out if the all-powerful Cyrus can make it in the Hisui region. Rule number 1, no healing in battle. Rule number 2, no over-leveling like crazy so we don't give ourselves a crazy advantage. Rule number 3, we're only allowed to use Cyrus's Pokemon with the exception to Houndoom, who will be replaced with a Cyrus-related Pokemon. We're going to be using the Platinum team, so that'll be Honchkrow, Weavile, Crobat, Gyarados, and the Pokemon that will be replacing Houndoom. Can Cyrus beat Pokemon Legends Arceus? That's what we're about to find out as the god of Pokemon, Arceus, launches us onto a nearby beach in the Hisui region, where we run into Professor Laventon, who we decide to help out after his Pokemon run away from him. So we go and catch the Pokemon, and then he takes us back to the village, where we run into Akari, who just makes fun of our clothes. You'll pay for this one day. And then she appears, the almighty Captain Silene, who has a very nice haircut, if I do say so myself, who just completely denies us access to the Galaxy team unless we pass her test first. So we pick our Pokemon, who doesn't really matter because we won't be able to use it, and then we head to the Obsidian Fieldlands where we'll be taking on the trial. But on our way to the Fieldlands, we do run into Volo, who does want to challenge us to a battle, and he, yes, I did say he, looks like he'll cause us a bit of trouble down the line. So let's have our first battle. So we'll be facing a level 5 Togepi, and we've got no choice but to use Oshawott. So we start off with a tackle, and then he returns with a tackle, and then we use tackle once more and get a crit, and then he uses tackle, and then we use tackle and finish him off. So now that we can do our trial, we catch the Bidoof, we catch the Starly, and then we proceed to catch the Shinx. So now that we've caught all three, we report back to Silene, and luckily she says we won't die, and she also gives us a nice little uniform, but we won't be wearing it for long because we change our clothes so we look more the part. We then receive the Pokedex of Professor Laventon and learn the secret roll technique of Akari. But before we get the first member to our team, we need a 1-star Pokedex level, so we need to catch some Pokemon and then report back to Silene. Okay, so now that we've got our 1-star Pokedex level, we can continue. But first, Akari challenges us to a battle, who sends out a Pikachu who could be a bit of trouble for Oshawott. And the Pikachu does start off by using Thunder Wave and paralysing us so we can't attack. So we try and use Aqua Jet, but we don't manage the attack, and then he uses Thunder Shock and nearly finishes off. But we do get one attack away and nearly kill the Pikachu, but it's too late because Oshawott gets finished off. So we decide to send out the Starly, hoping that it doesn't get an attack away, and then we use Quick Attack to finish the battle and beat Akari. And now we can finally cross the bridge, but first we need to prove ourselves by beating Mai and Munchlax in a Pokemon battle. This will be the last battle we do before we're able to get our first team member, and it will be against a level 10 Munchlax. So we start off with a Thunder Shock, and luckily we get the Paralyze, and it can't move, so then we use an Agile style Quick Attack. Our aim here is to just get as many Quick Attacks out as possible before it gets an attack on us because it hits quite hard. So we just keep using Agile style Quick Attacks, hoping that it doesn't get an attack away as we keep using our Quick Attacks, but it does, and it finishes off our Shinx. So now we send out Oshawott to finish it off, and we start off by using Sword Dance to power up our next move, and the Munchlax uses Tackle, and it does about half damage, and then we use Aqua Jet. It doesn't finish it off, but another one will do the trick. And now we can finally catch the first member of the team, which is going to be Zubat. So after we catch Zubat, we go and do some training by fighting wild Pokemon like Starlies and stuff around the area before we can take on the first battle and start the challenge. So we take on Delily Woopertoon, and we've only got one chance to kill it here, as it does a lot of damage with Aerial Ace and nearly finishes us off. But as you can see, Bite lets us have 2 attacks, so we start off with a Bite which does about a third damage, and then we finish it off with an Aerial Ace to win the first battle. After we've finished the battle, we hear a screech in the distance, and it's none other than the Great Weirdy. And it just stares at us and then just runs off. And now we've got a camp at the top of the cliff. As we head back to the village, the leaders of the two clans are scrapping as usual, and then we go and report to Commander Kamado, who tells us to go study Cleaver. But not if Leanne has to say anything about it, so we've got to battle him first, because we're not worthy. And he brings out his Goomy, which we just use Aerial Ace and just one-shot quite easily. So we head back to the lab and manage to find a way to quell Cleaver, but first we go and see Weird, and now, after playing the Mystical Flute, we can now ride Weird wherever we want to go. So let's go to Cleaver. But first we must take on the toughest challenge yet, which is Irida and a damn Glaceon. But we got this right, we got the all-powerful Zubat, should be easy. Yeah, Glaceon killed us again and again and again. So at this point, there was only one thing we could do. So we tried using Ominous Wind to get the boosts. We managed to actually get the boosts first time of trying this. And I was pretty confident going into this, knowing that I got the boost. But then I forgot that Glaceon can use strong style moves. It just slipped my mind and we got taken out again. So the only thing to do was evolve our Zubat into a Golbat, even though we've over leveled a little bit, because I think the Cleaver's level 18. This is the only time we will be over leveling because we needed to do it. So we start off with a Bite and it uses Powder Snow, and unfortunately it does freeze us. Well, that's okay because we use Aerial Ace and it does a lot of damage, but we are hurt by Frostbite, and then Glaceon uses Powder Snow again and we are left on 30 odd HP, and we finish it off with a Swift and finally defeat that damn Glaceon and Irida. So it's time to take on the Lord of the Woods, Cleaver, in battle. And find out the hard way that Cleaver's Stealth Rock is a lot more powerful than I thought it was, and then we decide just to barm it to submission because we can't take it out with the Golbat in battle. So we head back to the commander now that we've completed our mission, and we set off on a new mission to the Crimson Mainlands. But first we need a second star to be able to proceed. So we get our second star and report back to Silene, and now we can go to the Crimson Mainlands. It's beautiful. Okay, so we also have access to space-time distortions, which will let us get our next team member, so that's what we're going to do. So after waiting for one for a while, one finally appeared, and we go inside, and we manage to catch our next team member, which will be a Sneasel, which will eventually turn into a Weavile. We just need a Razor Claw. And then we head to the ruins, where all we get is Attitude of this old lady, and then Volo appears and challenges us to a battle. So he starts off with his Togepi again, and we start off with our Golbat, and we use Aerial Ace and do a lot of damage, and then we use Swift to finish it off. But then he sends out a Gabai and not a Gabai, a Gibble, and it uses Twister, but it doesn't do that much damage, so we just use an Aerial Ace and a Swift to finish him and Volo off. And then he asks for our help to hunt down the missing wall fragment that was actually stolen, so let's get hunting. And we finally found it, and it's the infamous band of trio, the Misfortune sisters. And we've got to fight Coin, who sends out Toxicroak, so we lead with Golbat and use Aerial Ace, hoping for the one hit, but it doesn't quite kill it. Still got a little bit of life left, but it can't do too much damage to us, and we finish it off and win the battle and get the wall fragment back from the Misfortune sisters. And then we hand the wall fragment back over to Caliber, and she hangs it on the wall. Don't ask me how, I have no idea how she's climbing up there at her age. And now it's time to take on our next boss fight, which is Ursaluna, which could be a bit of trouble if we let it get going. But we lead with Sneasel and start with Ice Shard because it allows us get multiple attacks in a row next time. I didn't actually know it had Play Rough, but luckily it didn't attack, and we just keep using Ice Shard. We use Agile Style, so it lets us have another attack, and then we use Strong Style to finish it off and win the battle. And then we use our Magic Flute, and now we can ride on Ursaluna and hunt down treasures. And with that done, it's time to head back to the commander, and then we have another situation already. So now we've got a sniff out Arazu in the Crimson Merelands. So we head to the Crimson Merelands and find this sacred rock, which we smash to bits, turn to the right, and we finally find her. So now we're going to lead Arazu and Caliber as they heal up, and me and Adamant will head for the next boss, which is Lilligant. So this should be pretty interesting. It shouldn't be too hard because it's got a quad weakness to flying types, but let's get started. Okay, so when it does get a low health, we throw Crobat in battle, which should be able to take care of him pretty easily, and we use Aerial Ace, which one-shots the Lilligant with no trouble at all, and then we finish it off by throwing bombs at it with a nice little 360 at the end. And then we report back to Commander Kamado as he orders us to go down to Prelude Beach to see a bunch of tourists. And then as we go back, we must get another star before we can go on to the next area, so it's back to catching Pokemon. 1 hour later, after we finally get our third star, we head back to Highland and we can finally go to Cobalt Coastlands. And it's time for the rematch with Iridate and Glaceon, but things won't go so simple this time, because we have a Sneasel. So we start the battle and we notice that she has 2 Pokemon out at once. So we do use a poison jab on the Glaceon, hoping to get the poison, and we do get a crit, and then it counters us with Ice Beam, but it doesn't do too much damage because it's not very effective, and then Eevee lowers our attack with Baby Doll Eyes. So we use a poison jab to finish off the Glaceon. Luckily we did get that crit, or it might have been a bit shaky, but the Eevee then uses quick attack on us twice in a row, because it's got priority, and then we switch to Crobat to finish him off, because if your Sneasel loses to a level 15 Eevee, have you really won the battle? So we finish him off with an Aerial Ace, and that's Iridate, and now we've got to head to the top of that cliff in the distance. But first, we shall catch the next addition to our team, which will be a Murkrow. So we head to the top of the ridge, and then they send us on another errand to go and meet someone called Iscan, but then he sends us on an errand to go and catch a Dusclops. We catch the Dusclops, and then we do the magic voodoo and make Basculegion's food. And now we can go to the beach and go get Basculegion, which will get our next Pokemon, and we will have all 4 of the original Pokemon after playing the flute, because we will now be able to swim on Basculegion to locate Gyarados and Magikarp. But first, Charm uses her Gengar to kidnap Growlithe, and now we've got to go rescue him. But we know our priorities. We've got to go and catch Gyarados first before we rescue the Growlithe. So we're at Firespit Island, and we get ready to take on the Misfortune sisters. First, we've got to battle Clover, who we do Aerial Ace. It would be nice if we had a strong style Aerial Ace, but we don't, so it does get an aerial crash away and do a lot of damage to Crobat, but luckily we finish it off with an Aerial Ace. Next up is Toxicroak and Coin, but that's quite easily sorted with an Aerial Ace, which does one-shot the Toxicroak and allows us to move on to Charm. Crobat's Poison Pride will not allow it to go down to a Gengar, so we do switch out and we bring out Gyarados, so it's his first proper battle and it's against a Rhydon. Hopefully we attack first, which we do, and we attack with an Aerial Ace, which is 4 times effective and takes out the Rhydon. And now we've got to deal with the Gengar, who does use Venoshock, does a decent amount of damage, and I don't think we can take another one, so we use a strong style Crunch to finish off the Gengar and defeat the Misfortune sisters for good. And then Growlithe starts evolving to protect its friends. At least that's what it thought. But then it gets struck by lightning, and now it's kind of our problem to fix. So I guess now it's time to take on the Hisuian Growl Canine Growlithe Yellow Frenzied Monster, who I just hope didn't one-shot Gyarados and it left us on 26 HP. So we use Aqua Tail to finish it off because it is 4 times effective, and then we took it out and headed back to the commander. and now he gives us our next orders, which is to quell Electrode in Mount Coronet, and then we get Attitude off Melly. Wait, you telling me Melly's a guy? Wow, that's crazy. I did not know that. And now we head to Coronet Highlands. At least that's what I thought, but we've got to get our 4th star to get there. So it's time to go catch some Pokemon again. So after 2 hours of catching Pokemon, we finally got enough points to get our 4th star and move on to the next area. So we go find Warden Ingo, which will be our guide in the Coronet Highlands. Oh, it's spoopy Highlands. So we go through the cave, and then when we get to the other side, it's none other than Melly blocking our way. And she has a stun tank, so we use Aqua Tail, and it fights back with none other than Poison Jab. And it does poison us, so we have to finish it this turn, which we do with an Aqua Tail, and then we set up camp, so we've got somewhere to fast travel to that's easier. And now we can get Sneasler, but first we need to beat the Warden Ingo in a battle, who does start off with Machoke, and I think this is Murkrow's first battle, which we nearly win with one shot because we're super effective, but Machoke takes himself out. So now he brings out a Tangela, who we should be able to deal with, but just in case, we do start off with a Snarl to reduce its attack and special attack in case it can hit us with something. And we do get a crit as well, which is nice, and it paralyzes us. I just hope that we can break through the paralysis, and we finish it off with another Snarl. And now he brings out his last Pokemon, which is Gliscor, and Gliscor can be very dangerous, and it does attack first, and it uses a strong style quick attack. So now we bring out Gyarados to finish it off, because we have Ice Fang, which I thought was 4 times effective for some reason, but it's only times 2, so I should have really used Aqua Tail, but we finish it off with the second Ice Fang and beat Warden Ingo. And now he summons Sneasler, and we play our magical flute, and now we can climb walls. So we go climb some walls. Now we've got to battle Melly again to prove ourselves worthy of taking on Electrode. And we forgot to heal up, so it's not looking very good for Gyarados. So we just go out with a bang and use a strong style Aqua Tail, but it doesn't finish off the Skuntank, and we get taken out by the Skuntank's Poison Jab. So now we just need to decide who to bring out next, and I decide to bring out Crobat next because its poison moves will do next to no damage on me, and I can use Aerial Ace to finish it off. So now that Stuntank's out of the way, it's just Skorupi and Zubat, which don't really have much to offer, so it should be an easy battle now. But Zubat does make us drowsy, so to avoid that again, we do take the Zubat out first with an Aerial Ace, and now all we have to do is Aerial Ace the Skorupi and we win the battle. But I just want to make one thing clear, I won the battle, but Melly didn't lose it, there's a difference. And now it's time for the Electrode, Lord of the Hollow. So we take on the Electrode, and luckily we survive on 3 HP as it uses Thunder, and hoping to get the KO we use a strong style Aerial Ace, but it's not enough, and then it gets 2 Thunders in a row. We avoid the first one and get taken out by the second one. So we send in the Sneasel to finish it off with an Ice Punch, and then we throw some bombs at it, and that's the Lord of the Hollow defeated. And now we head back to report to Commander Kamado, and then we've got to go to the Alabaster Icelands to take on the last frenzied Pokemon, which will be Avalugg. But first, we need to get our 5th star so we can actually go there. So we catch some Pokemon, finally get enough merit points to get ourselves a Razorfang, which was a bit of a grind, but we got there in the end. And now we finally have a Weavile. And then I was just wondering how to get a Honchkrow. when I found this little beauty. We got quite lucky and a random space-time distortion spawned, so now we can evolve our Murkrow into a Honchkrow, and we've got the 2 hardest members of the team to get. As well as getting our newly evolved Pokemon, we also got our 5th star along the way, and we can move on to Alabasta Icelands, but first we must prove ourselves to Akari in a Pokemon battle. So her first Pokemon, Mr. Mime, is no problem because we just Poison Jab, which is super effective, and take it straight out. And then she brings out a Pikachu, which does use Quick Attack, and then Iron Tail, but luckily it misses because that would have done a lot of damage, and we finish it off with an Ice Punch. And then, now that Pikachu's down, she sends out her last Pokemon, which is Staravia. It uses Brave Bird, which does a reasonable amount of damage, but we finish it off with an Ice Punch and win the battle against Akari. And now we can move on to Alabasta Icelands. It's a bit cold in the Icelands, but that doesn't matter because it's never too cold to take on Garrick and prove ourselves worthy of taking on the Hisuian Avalugg. So he does send out a Frostlass and a Glalie, which could be trouble. So we take out the Frostlass first, and then we've just got the Glalie to deal with. And it does take us out with a strong style Icicle Crash, which is unfortunate. So I just think who I want to send out next, and I decide to bring out Gyarados, because Gyarados has Iron Head, which is super effective against Glalie, and it should be able to take care of it quite easily. So after 2 Iron Heads in a row without it attacking, we won the battle. All that's left to do now is hunt down Sabby and play a game where we've got to go find her 3 times. So we've got to do this ridiculous puzzles, which took me longer than I'd like to admit, and we finally find Sabby, and now we've got to take her on if we want to be able to get Braviary. So I'm very scared of this fight because Rhyperior stomps my whole team and Electivire stomps most of my team. So I'm just hoping for the best, and I don't know why, but I took Magmortar out first. I probably should have took the Electivire out first, but now that Magmortar's down, there's only 2 left to deal with. So he uses Thunder Wave to paralyze Crobat, and then we get Strong Style Rock Slide by Rhyperior, and it completely annihilates us. So we've only got 2 Pokemon left because Honchkrow was still defeated from that battle earlier. So we try our luck with Gyarados, and I'm just hoping that Aqua Tail finishes it off. And as luck would have it, we miss. But then they miss their Thunder Wave, so it kind of evens out. But then we miss another Aqua Tail, and then we nearly get finished off by a Rock Slide, so it's really not looking good. And he gets to attack again with another Rock Slide. Now, all that we have left is a Weavile, and things are really not looking good. I thought we would get wiped out for the first time since having our full time, but that doesn't seem to be the case because Rhyperior couldn't attack, and we attacked it twice in a row. And now it's just Electivire against Weavile, and things are looking very good. So we attack it with a Night Slash and nearly finish it off. Now we just need to attack it once, but it does paralyze us, and we can't move once. And again, that's twice, and again, that's 3 times we've not been able to move, and a 4th time we couldn't move, and things are really looking bad. But on the move we needed the most, Weavile came through for us, and then we head to the top to take on the Braviary. So now that we can take on the Braviary, who shouldn't be too difficult because Weavile is an absolute animal, we hit it with a Night Slash, and it does most damage, but they waste an attack with Roost, and then we just use Ice Punch by accident because I thought it was super effective, and it doesn't finish it off, and they attack us but don't do too much damage, and then we finish it off with a Night Slash, and Braviary opens its heart to us, and now we can fly wherever we want to go. So it's time to take on Avalugg. So we quell Avalugg without being able to take it on because we quelled it too fast, and then we head back to the camp, and we're getting blamed for everything that's gone on now, and we're banished from the village. But Volo comes to our rescue by taking us to Kogita, and Kogita tells us that we need to make the red chain, so off we go to defeat the Guardians of the Lakes and retrieve the 3 items that we need So we defeat Alpha Gudra, Alpha Zoroark, and Alpha Overquill. We then head to the ruins and make the red chain, which allows us to be back in the village, but Commander Kamado has gone. So we need to go to the Mount Coronet and find him, but first we've got to fight Beni, who is unusually strong for a nice little mochi maker. And he does start off with a Miss Maggie Aggius. And we have Conch Crow out and we just completely annihilate it with a Night Slash. And he brings out Gardevoir and uses an Agile style Dazzling Gleam, which does do a lot of damage, and then it uses Carmine. So at this point I'm terrified because Gardevoir is a scary Pokemon, especially with attack and defense buffs. So we just use Shadow Ball knowing that we're going to die the next turn. So we send out Crobat, who does now have Cross Poison, so it will be able to annihilate fairy types, and we should be able to finish off the Gardevoir within one attack as we use Cross Poison, and it finishes it off. And now we just need to take care of it. 2 more Pokemon. The first one is Galactic, who is easily taken care of with an Aerial Ace, and now his final Pokemon, who will be a Sneasler. Now I'm not going to lie, I had no idea what type this was, so I'm just lucky that it tells you what's not very effective and what's super effective. So we do hit it with the Zen Headbutt, which is super effective, and luckily it takes it out in one hit. Now that we've defeated Beni, we can go to the top of the mountain and take on the commander himself, who should be an interesting fight as he sends out Braviary, but we have Gyarados and we use the complete wrong move. We used Aqua Tail by accident. I meant to use Crunch, but my finger slipped. So it does hit us with an Esper Wing. I have no idea what that does, but it does attack us with 2 of them, and it doesn't seem to be that strong, so we just finish it off with a Crunch. And now he brings out his next Pokemon, which is a Golem, and puts us in a massive advantage. I forgot that it could use Rock Slide and take us out, but luckily it didn't hit and we finish it off with an Aqua Tail. His next Pokemon is a Snorlax, so we just hit it with a load of crunches, hoping that one of them lowers his defense, and luckily enough it was the first one that lowered his defense, and then he hits us with a Giga Impact, so we can now attack him twice. So we hit him with an Aqua Tail, and with the decreased defense it just takes him out in one shot. And now all we have to do is take care of the Clefable, who does use Carmine, so he's got to be careful here. But the plan is use Iron Head because it's super effective, and Iron Head is a 2-shot kill, but it does recover some health, so I don't think Iron Head will take it out now, but we'll find out. And no, it doesn't, but we get to attack again, so we finish it off with an Ice Fang. And now we've got to take on Dialga, who will actually be the next member of our team to replace Houndoom, because it's the Pokemon that Cyrus should have had anyway, with all the hard work he put into getting the red chain. So now we have Dialga on the team, but Palkia appears. So we run away and try and make an Origin Ball, but the Misfortune sisters again. So we just take them out like there's nothing. Gengar, gone, see ya. And then we head back to Palkia. But wait, Palkia? It's a horse now. So we just take it down. We don't want no horse Palkia. And we catch it in the Origin Ball, and it returns to normal, and now we're the heroes again and we can celebrate. But that's what we thought. Look at that evil smile. Volo appears and tells us that we've basically got to collect all the plates now so we can take on a certain person, because we're not done there. So to get the first plates, we take on Commander Kamado. He has 5 Pokemon this time. We take his first Pokemon out with an Aqua Tail, At least that's what I thought, but he used a full restore, so we try a second Aqua Tail, and we must have got a low roll last time, or a high roll this time, and we take it out. And now we've got to deal with the Snorlax. So out comes Snorlax, and we've got the same plan as last time, and we just use agile style crunches until we get the defense drop. We didn't get it on the first one, and then he hits us with the Giga Impact, so we try a normal one this time, and we still don't get the defense drop, so we attack again, and we still don't get it, but at this point it doesn't matter. He misses his Giga Impact, which is quite lucky, so we finish him off with a crunch. Next up on his team is Clefable, which we are in a very good position for because we can just Iron Head and it nearly kills but doesn't quite kill. And Gyarados is nearly fainted, but we finish it off with an Iron Head. So his next Pokemon is the Braviary, and we're in quite a good position if it doesn't finish us. So we're on 26 health, and we can attack the Braviary with a crunch, and we make sure it's strong style, because if we don't finish him off, then it can attack us, and we will die with any attack at the minute. So his last Pokemon this time is a Heracross, and it uses Pin Missile, and we survive on 5 health, which is very lucky. But I don't know why he didn't use a stronger move, but then we get even more lucky and we get a crit with the Aqua Tail. So now we just catch some legendary Pokemon, collect some plates, and then we finally get the Regigigas. Took us a few tries. And then we head back to Volo and the Wise Lady. I forgot her name, and she gives us the second to last plate. Now there's only 1 plate left to get, and we head to the top of Mount Coronet, and look who it is. Evil Volo finally shows his true colours. And this is the battle we've been waiting for, the battle that I have been terrified for. I hate them Giratinas, they're so annoying. So we start off with a crunch, and he uses Hypnosis. Then we use Aqua Tail, but he dodges it off to a really bad start. And he uses Shadow Ball, does a decent amount of damage. And we use Aqua Tail, and this time it hits. But there's a long way to go yet. So he sends out, next up is the Arcanine. Arcanine wouldn't normally worry me, but we are drowsy, and unfortunately we couldn't attack because of it, and he hits 2 Rock Slides in a row and takes out our Gyarados. So now we're in a really bad position. I'm really not having high hopes for this battle now. So we send out Weavile, because I think he's the only one that can take out this Arcanine. And we use Night Slash, which is a decent amount of damage, but not too much. So then we use Agile Style, but he uses a full restore. So now we're going to have to just hope for a crit. It's the only way we can win this battle now. And the first one wasn't a crit, but luckily enough, the second Night Slash we used was a crit, and that's just what we needed to turn this battle around and finally get one over on Volo, you little evildoer. So he sends out Lucario and completely decimates Weavile with a close combat, because it's 4 times effective. So now we've only got 3 Pokemon left, but we can't use Honchkrow because we need it for the Giratinas, because that Snarl is going to be critical in taking them out. So we bring out Crobat, and 2 Aerial Aces is enough to take care of the Lucario, because it's just use a strong style move, so it can't attack. And then he brings out Togekiss, which is very good for us because we're super effective against it, even if it's powered it up. So we use Cross Poison and Agile Style, so we get an extra move, taking good advantage of these special moves and when to use them. And then we use a strong style Cross Poison to finish it off. I could have used a normal one and it would finish it off, but I didn't know what moves it had, so we needed Crobat at full health for this battle, because Crobat is, I think, the only one that can take care of the Garchomp without taking too much damage, because we needed the Dialga as well, who we haven't actually used yet. So the plan here was just keep using Leech Seed and taking advantage of the Agile style moves, so we could get as much health back as possible while taking out the Garchomp. And luckily we did just enough to take out the Garchomp because we had priority on that last move that mattered, and we leech life the Garchomp to submission. But it has one Pokemon left, which will be the most crucial Pokemon, and it is Roserade. But I'm pretty sure it has nothing to damage us because grass is not very effective, poison is not very effective on us. So now I'm just hoping we can get some health pack with the remaining Leech Life, because Leech Life is a pretty strong move on this game. So we get some health back with the 2 Leech Seeds that we're, not Leech Seed, Leech Lives that we managed to hit him with, and we take out Volo. Or do we take out Volo? Because then he summons Giratina. So now we've got to take down Giratina, who's just got this little black aura about him, and he's just stronger than usual. He's a pain in the beep. So let's find out if we've got enough power left in the team to take down the Giratina. So he doesn't actually kill us on his first attack, and that lets us get across poison away. And I was hoping for the poison because it was the only way we could beat him, and luck is on our side because we do manage to poison him. And now I'm just trying to get as much damage as I can away with Crobat before we go down. So now we do send out the Dialga because I was saving Honchkrow for the second Giratina fight, because that's the one that I'm worried about. This one's not too bad, but fighting them both back to back is a different problem. So we can easily sack Dialga off. So we do use Dragon Pulse, and we got very lucky in this fight because we got a poison, and then we got a critical hit straight after with Dragon Pulse. And now the Origin form comes out. So now it's time to find out whether we can truly take down Volo or not. He's too overpowered. 8 Pokemon, ridiculous. So we managed to get an attack away, which was just under half, but then he just attacks us too many times in a row and takes out Dialga. Dialga had one fight. You had one job, and we don't manage to do it. So we send out Honchkrow, which is kind of strange that we're relying on Honchkrow so much, because he's been kind of dead weight for most of the run, but he's there right when we need him. And we get the last play from Volo. And that proves that Cyrus can indeed take on Pokemon Legends Arceus, and we are now worthy of the true hair colour of Cyrus. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.